for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros. I talk about politics, sports, and entertainment to keep you well rounded, what's going on in the world around you. If you don't like hearing the truth, then this show is definitely not for you. So let's jump in to President Trump's tweet today. He's trying to end birthright citizenship for illegal aliens. This should be a no brainer, but Democrats and the Liberal Party need potential future voters. So they're fighting tooth and nail against this. Let's go to President Trump. President Trump tweets on X, big case today in the United States Supreme Court. Birthright citizenship was not meant for people taking vacations to become permanent citizens of the United States of America and bringing their families with them, all the time laughing at the suckers that we are. The United States of America is the only country in the world that does this. For what reason, nobody knows, but the drug cartels love it. We are, for the sake of being politically correct, a stupid country, but in actually, this is the exact opposite of being politically correct. And it is yet another point that leads to the dysfunction of America. Birthright citizenship is about the babies of slaves as conclusive proof. The Civil War ended in 1865. The bill went to Congress less than a year later. In 1866, and was passed shortly after that, it had nothing to do with illegal immigration for people wanting to scam our country from all parts of the world, which they have done for many years. It had to do with Civil War results and the babies of slaves who our politicians felt correctly needed protection. Please explain this to the Supreme Court of the United States again. Remember, the Civil War ended in 1865 and the bill goes to Congress in 1866. We didn't have people pouring into our country from all over South America and the rest of the world. It wasn't even a subject. What we had were the babies of slaves. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Good luck. And President Trump is absolutely right. If everyone picked up a book and learned history instead of listening to social media, listening to barbershop talk, listen to a bunch of Democratic liberal idiots who are corrupt to their core and need a future voting base, the majority of these people that do this, they haven't paid a 1 day into Social Security. As soon as they get here, they get Social Security. Let me tell you something. If I ever went for my Social Security after paying into it for 40 years and it's not there, somebody's going to have a problem somewhere. This is absolutely ridiculous and it needs to stop. And President Trump, anybody that disagrees with what President Trump is trying to do here, you have a mental disorder. Liberalism is a mental disorder. Liberals think that the whole country should be destroyed because their feelings got hurt about something. Something small hurt a liberal's feelings. So now the whole country needs to implode and go up in flames. President Trump is absolutely right here. We're the only country in the world that allows this. We're the only country in the world that tells people that break the law, hey, yeah, come here illegally. We'll give you housing, we'll give you health care, we'll give you car vouchers, we'll give you a free phone. It's complete bullshit and it needs to stop. I don't care if you're offended by what I say. I don't care where you're from. If you're from Europe, Africa, South America, wherever you're from, if you're here illegally, you need to be deported immediately. Anybody else has a different opinion, then you know what? Go to those beautiful countries that those people came from and live there. Go there illegally and see what happens to you. You know what happened to you? You'd be put in jail immediately. President Trump, that's all he does is win. He keeps winning. The Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world, just saluted America and President Trump in red, white, and blue. That's what happens when you have real leadership. You just walk in a room and you get respect. And that's what President Trump does for America. All of these other countries that were laughing at us, you know what they're doing now? They're bowing to us because they want to be part of the great economy that President Trump is going to build. And he's going to build it. Everybody's nervous about that's what President Trump does. All he does is win. I will bet on President Trump every single time in every single situation, and I will always come out on top if I had to bet on him. People need to stop doubting the greatest American to ever live. President Trump has done more in a lifetime than if you took 8 million people and put them together. He's been more successful in one lifetime than all those people put together. President Trump doesn't lose. He makes America great again. He brings American exceptionalism back to the marketplace, back to job creation, back to the American citizen so they can walk around with a sense of pride. And unlike when Democrats run things, we are the laughing stock of the world, lighting up the White House and the rainbow flag and all the other garbage that Joe Biden did on Easter. On Easter Sunday, I'll never forget on Easter Sunday, the resurrection day of Jesus Christ, that Joe Biden decided to honor LGBTQ plus whatever. Joe Biden is absolutely disgusting. And when Joe Biden talks about God, you know what, Joe? When you meet God, trust me, you're going to hell. Joe Biden is an absolute disgrace. Qatar also gives President Trump a great sign of respect. They welcome him by putting American flags up on their buildings. You know, it's just so amazing because you have liberal cities in America that don't want to wave the American flag because they don't want to hurt certain citizens' feelings. Go F yourself. If you don't like living in America and you think somewhere else is better, get on a plane and go live there. See ya. Bye. Nobody needs you here. That's for sure. America is the greatest country in the world. And the only people that don't think so are Democrats and liberals. President Trump also became a grandfather for the 11th time as Tiffany gives birth to a son. You know what? God bless President Trump, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad to see President Trump smile. Here we have an epic view of Air Force One from a F-15 as Trump lands a Qatar. The last time a president to receive a fighter jet welcome from a foreign nation was Ronald Reagan. America is back. Absolutely, because Ronald Reagan commanded respect. He didn't bow to world leaders. Barack Obama bowing to other leaders. The most powerful man in the world at one point, Barack Obama. When you're in charge of the United States military, the most lethal fighting force in the world, you are the most powerful man in the world. I don't care what anybody says. You don't have to like what I say. It doesn't matter to me. That's the reality. So for the president of the United States to bow to any foreign leader, you're a piece of trash. I'm not bowing to anybody if I'm president of the United States. You're going to respect me. Everybody is going to show me respect when I walk in the room. And the only time the president of the United States doesn't get respect is when a corrupt pervert like Joe Biden and Barack Obama and the rest of the Democratic crime machine is running the United States of America. President Trump also visited a mosque at the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. They shut down the mosque for his special visit, the first time it's ever been closed for anyone in history, historic moment. That's all President Trump does is win. He's a winner. You know, all of these other countries that were once mocking us and getting over on America because corrupt Joe Biden was in charge, President Trump is now in charge, and now they're all getting into line. So, six illegal aliens shot and killed a mother of two in South Carolina. Larisha Sherelle Thompson was shot behind the wheel of her vehicle in what is believed to be attempted carjacking. President Trump says that any illegal aliens that kill an American citizen should be given the death penalty. And you know what? He's absolutely right. If you're not supposed to be on American soil because you broke the law and you kill one of our citizens, you should get hung in public. You should get the electric chair. You should get the death penalty. You don't like it? Too bad.
Jail or kick him the hell out of the country, and we'll do it very fast. And to expedite removals of the Trende, Aragua, and MS-13 gangs from our country, and many others, by the way, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Think of that. We had to go back to 1798. That's when we had laws that were effective. 1798 we had to go back to. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. Automatic if they come.
You see what President Trump is saying? Automatic 10 years in prison. That's what Mexico does. Nobody calls Mexico racist. If, an American citizen wanders across the border, they go right to prison 10 years. All other countries do it, but it's only racist when President Trump in America does it when we want to have a secure border.
Come back into our country. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And I will end catch and release. They'll be released into Mexico. We will have catch and release, but not into America. It will be catch and release into Mexico. I will rescue every town across America that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious, bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country. And we'll do it very fast.
There you go. That's what real leadership does. Unlike Democrats and liberals, here's a free house, here's free health care, here's Social Security you never paid into, here's a car voucher, here's money to start your own businesses. We all know what's going on, and you know why it's going on? Because Democrats need future voters. Let's go to entertainment. Chris Brown arrested for allegedly smashing tequila bottle over music producer's head at a nightclub. Come on, Chris, man, you got to clean it up a little bit, bro. Rapper Chris Brown was arrested earlier today at five-star hotel over a bottle attack at London nightclub. Met Police detectives arrested the 36-year-old American musician just after 2 a.m. at the Lowry Hotel in Manchester. Brown was held on suspicion of causing grievous body harm to music producer Abby Diallo at Trendy Tate nightclub in Mayfield, central London in February. Oh, this is incidents from 2023. He was taken into police custody and is thought to have been taken to a local police station for questioning. I mean, everybody's entitled to live their life how they want to live it. But I mean, God, man, you got so much money. You could live the best lifestyle and be so healthy, yoga, karate, boxing, eating the best foods, going to the chilling out in a spa, getting a massage, when drugs and alcohol, when you get everything you want and you're still getting drunk and you're getting high, it just makes it worse because you feel like, what, I can get away with anything. I got money to get out of any situation. You think you work this hard and you'd be like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill out. I never understand how you could gain the world and just lose your entire soul. It seems that way. I nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to make it sound like that, but I know if I got a ton of money, I'm just gonna have the best relaxed life ever. And the only thing that's gonna really change is I'm probably never gonna cook again. I'm gonna eat the best food ever. I'd probably have a personal chef. That's about it. And a jacuzzi in my living room so I could sit in the jacuzzi and watch TV. A lot of people buy jacuzzis, they put it outside, they never go in the jacuzzi. I never understand that. Why put a jacuzzi in your backyard that you're never going to sit in when you could put it in your living room when you want to watch television and get in the jacuzzi? I'm not going to just play all the Puffy testimony at his trial, but here's the thing, and I said this yesterday, I made a video. Puffy is not on trial for being a sexual deviant. Puffy is not on trial for domestic violence. And all the evidence so far, all they're talking about is his sexcapades and beating up Cassie. It doesn't constitute sex trafficking, racketeering. The charges that Puffy's been charged with so far, the testimony of Cassie, it's just all theatrics. And you have a woman that went to freak offs for 10 years. She was so terrified, but went for 10 years. You didn't think to yourself, well, let me drive to the FBI office and get some protection. No, I'll just keep going. I'm not buying the story. She wanted to be part of this lifestyle because she thought it was going to further her career. And that just because Puffy helps you, just because Puffy backs you, doesn't mean the public's going to buy your music. And now, since her music career didn't work out, it's, oh, poor me. I put myself through all this because I was trying to enhance my career. Puffy wasn't charged with sexual assault. He wasn't charged with kidnapping. What are we talking about here? How do you have sex trafficking and not kidnapping? To sex traffic somebody, you got to kidnap him or use the lover boy method. He's not charged with either one. So how is he charged with sex trafficking? He didn't sexually assault anybody. Everybody involved with Puffy at these parties for 30 plus years went to these parties multiple times on their own. He didn't force anybody to go to these parties. He didn't force anybody to partake in these extracurricular activities. It doesn't matter if he's a sexual deviant. It doesn't matter if you don't like that he peed in her face or, he's not on trial for domestic abuse. Those aren't his charges. So all the testimony has nothing to do with the charges. And if you don't get emotional and you sit there and you listen, you're like, well, fine. That's absolutely disgusting what he did, but That doesn't constitute sex trafficking, a RICO case, and driving prostitutes for sex. Puffy didn't get in the car with the prostitutes. The prostitutes got in the car on their own and drove to his house because they wanted to make money and get paid. I've just this whole case to me, I'm not a Puffy fan at all. I didn't need to see all this to know he was no good. Ever. I've been saying this for years. He's no good. I knew this for years, but this is not justice. And one thing has nothing to do with the other. All the testimony that's gonna allegedly incriminate. This is what the prosecutors want. They want to make the jurors emotional, get off the subject, get off the topic of what he's being charged with, and convict the man and send them away for life off testimony that has nothing to do with what he's being charged with. I don't. This is not justice, and I don't agree with this at all. You can call him a sexual deviant. You can call him a domestic abuser. Guess what? The statute of limitations on domestic abuse, it's ran out. So he can't be charged with domestic abuse. These charges to me are just over the top charges. A Fed case, really? If anything, it should be a state case. The charges are total bullshit anyway. And the testimony of Cassie has nothing to do with what he's being charged with. Oh, we're gonna convict the man because he was into the most kinky sex you've ever heard of, and he's gonna do life in prison for it. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's a mockery of the justice system. The deep state and Democratic Party, they're sick maniacs. They're all psychopaths. So you have the ex FBI director James Comey just posted a photo calling for the assassination of President Trump. 86 is a term used by Antifa militants and street gangs, meaning kill, lock Comey up. This is what Comey put on his 8647. Kill the 47th president of the United States of America. Comey needs to be arrested and sent to prison. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I would rather be poor living in a cardboard box before I would ever vote for another Democrat ever again in my life. After seeing what they did to President Trump, his family, his businesses, all because he's for the American people, you could literally put this to my head and say, you're going to vote for a Democrat, and I would tell you to F off. I cannot stand Democrats. Comey needs to be in prison. And I'm going to end it with that. Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasairos.